What's up, everyone? Welcome back to your daily market close for Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. It was a rough day on Wall Street. The bears were firmly in control, and there wasn't much place to hide. Let's get right into the numbers. The S&P 500 dropped 0.6%, closing at 704.08. The Dow Jones fell in lockstep, down 0.6% to 491.36. The Nasdaq held up slightly better but still finished in the red. It lost just under 0.4%, settling at 644.33. Broad-based selling pressure across the board today. Now let's check in on the Magnificent Seven, because there's a lot to unpack here. Apple was the biggest mover, and not in a good way. Shares tumbled 2.5% to $266.17. And that drop comes on massive news. The BBC is reporting that Apple has named a new chief executive to replace Tim Cook. That is a seismic leadership change for the world's most valuable company. Investors are clearly digesting what this means going forward. Tesla slid 1.5% to $386.42. Alphabet dropped nearly the same, down 1.5% to $332.29. Nvidia fell just over 1%, closing at $199.88. But there was one bright spot. Microsoft bucked the trend entirely. Shares climbed 1.5% to $424.16. That was easily the best Mag 7 performance today. Alright, let's talk commodities because the action there was wild. Oil surged nearly 6%. WTI crude closed at $128.25 a barrel. That is a significant move for a single session. Meanwhile, precious metals got absolutely crushed. Gold dropped almost 3% to $429.57. Silver was even worse, plunging over 5% to $68.49. A dramatic divergence between energy and metals today. Over in crypto, the selling was more modest but still present. Bitcoin dipped 0.2%, trading at $75,566. Ethereum slipped about 0.4% to $2,313.17. No panic, but no momentum either. On the Forex front, we don't have updated major currency pairs for you tonight. We'll bring those back as soon as the data refreshes. Now let's hit the headlines driving the conversation. First, that Apple CEO transition is the story everyone will be talking about tomorrow. A new era begins at Cupertino, and the market is watching closely. Second, Eli Lilly made a big splash in biotech. They're acquiring Colonia Therapeutics for $3.25 billion. Stat News calls it the cap on a tortuous startup journey. That's a bold bet on next-generation cell therapy. And third, Amazon and Anthropic announced an expanded strategic collaboration. The AI arms race continues to accelerate, and Amazon is doubling down on its partnership. So what should you be watching tomorrow? Keep an eye on Apple. How the stock reacts on day 2 of this CEO news will tell us a lot about investor confidence. Watch oil prices closely at these elevated levels, and monitor whether that sell-off in gold and silver finds a floor or keeps going. That's your market close for April 21st. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.